that was the intro to the timeless Elton John classic, Your Song. I've chosen that because it's a good example of how you can use what we call a pedal tone. Pedal tone, by the way, is also often referred to as a pedal point or a pedal note. So what is a pedal tone? It's a long note in the bass which is either sustained or repeated with changing harmonies above it. These chords played above it may contain this bass note, or they may be totally unrelated to it and clash with it, creating a dissonance. The pedal tone creates a kind of harmonic anchor, and even if the chords that clash with it sound good when they're played as part of a chord progression over a pedal tone. The term pedal tone comes from the traditional organ where the bass notes are played with your feet. Pedal tones are usually the tonic or the dominant. So in the example I've played, Elton John's Your Song, the introduction, he uses a tonic pedal note. It's in the key of E flat major, and the first 4 bars, just the bass note is just an E flat, which is repeated on each bar. Notice that the chords above it change. We start with an E flat chord, which is chord 1 in the key of E flat, going to A flat, which is chord 4, B flat, chord 5, back to A flat, and then when the song starts, we're back on the tonic E flat. Let's look now at a much longer example from the last 12 bars of Bach's Prelude in C major. So I'll play this through first. So for the first 8 bars there was a dominant pedal. Dominant, remember, is the technical name that we give to the 5th note of a scale. So this piece is in the key of C major. The 5th note is G. So we had a G in the bass for the first 8 bars with several different chords above it. I'll go through the chords above it, but it doesn't really matter. You don't really need to understand what they are. Just to know that you are playing a series of different chords over a pedal note. The first chord is just a G dominant 7th chord. Next bar we have C, which is chord 1. The next chord we haven't yet dealt with in this series, I will be later on. This is called a suspended chord, back to the dominant 7th. The next bar is another chord that we haven't yet dealt with. It's a diminished 7th chord, but again, I shall be dealing with that later. Back to the tonic, back to the suspended chord, dominant 7th. And then finally, after those 8 bars, we go to a tonic pedal note. Tonic, remember, is the key note. Now, you're expecting the dominant pedal for 8 bars with all those different chords creates a kind of a tension, certainly, and also a feeling of expectation that you're going to resolve on the tonic. Well, we go to the tonic, but it doesn't really resolve straight away, because if you look at the first chord played over the tonic there, it's got a B flat in it, which is not in the key of C major. That actually makes that a C dominant 7th chord, and C dominant 7th is from the key of F major. So it's an example of what we call secondary dominants. Now, I did do a video about those. I'll put a link to that below. And then, not surprisingly, that is followed then with the F major chord. And then on the next to the last bar, we get this wonderful dissonance. I'll just play those 2 bars again. So the chord is a G dominant 7th chord, which clashes badly with C in the bass, especially as the left hand also plays the B. So you've got that really bad dissonance, but somehow it sounds great. When you resolve it, it all kind of makes sense. Okay, I would experiment with the pedal tones, so just try them in various keys. You don't really need to think too much about the chord you're playing. Just play lots of different chords and you get some really good effects. Hope you found that useful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you.